dedicated team to help get you moving and feeling better. After completing a comprehensive biomechanical assessment, the team of healthcare professionals will determine the appropriate treatment plan for you. And a happy Wednesday morning, 8:13. Joining us right now is Scott Campsall from Okami Kai. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday. And Jodi Bussiere from Uxbridge Physiotherapy. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're talking pole walking today.
We are.
Explain what pole walking, and I'm sure some people have seen it, and actually I have seen it more often than not these days. Is this something that came out of cross-country skiing? And literally, you're seeing people walk with poles in their hands?
Yeah, actually, it originated in European countries years ago from the elite cross-country skiers that were looking for a way to keep fit in the off-season. So they took poles that would normally go in the snow, and they just put rubber tips on them, and they used them to walk and apply force backwards with their arms and kept fit in the off-season. So then I guess people caught on to this and thought, hey, can the rest of us use this way to walk and get an upper body component to our walking? And it's taken off from there. It's actually all over the world, and it's used by people of all ages and all stages. And we have a group of us in Uxbridge that do classes every spring and fall, which is coming up very soon.
Well, we'll talk more about the classes, but you mentioned one of the benefits, obviously, is you're now utilizing your arms where you probably wouldn't necessarily in walking. What kinds of benefits are there by just introducing poles into your regular walking?
So the big thing for our patients is actually that it lowers the impact through their lower body, which a lot of older people have trouble with their backs and their hips and their knees, the joints that develop degenerative changes as we age. So by putting impact through the poles with our arms, it takes a little bit of impact out of the legs and the lower body. It adds muscles into our walk that we wouldn't normally use, like our abdominals and our upper body muscles. And what that does is actually gives us a better workout because it burns more calories. It uses more muscles than we would normally be walking with. And as you can imagine, it improves our posture because instead of looking down at our feet or people using canes and walkers and things, they're looking forward, and it helps us walk faster. And people really enjoy it. They find it a fun alternative to just regular walking.
So, I mean, it's not a replacement for a cane or a walker, but it is. I'm surprised that it offers that much benefit because you're not applying the same kind of pressure you would with a cane or a walker.
Well, you have one pole on either side. So I don't know what the mathematics are, but there are people that are stooped over and using canes and walkers. And of course, we would have to take each patient individually and assess whether it's a safe alternative. But there are people that walk better with the poles than they do with a cane or a walker. So it just depends on the individual.
Are they fairly easy to find if you wanted to purchase them?
They are. In fact, in Uxbridge, you can get them at our clinic. You can buy poles, I believe, at Canadian Tire and the TSC store. And if you just want to try them out before you buy them, you can even, I believe, go to the Ux pool, and they were renting them. Now, I'm not sure what their policies are during and since COVID. I know the Ux pool is opening up again in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure they have a sanitization process. But yeah, you can buy them in Uxbridge, you can rent them in Uxbridge, and I'm sure you go on the internet, you can find them anywhere.
So I would think that most people are going, oh, okay, well, it's a certain age group that's going to be using these. I'm not going to bother using them. Is it benefit not only someone who's older, but someone who's younger as well?
Absolutely. We have people of all ages in our classes, and I would say the most popular age group are retired people. However, there's people from, 40s up to their 80s in our classes. And I know one day I just was feeling really lazy. I didn't feel like going for a run, and I have my poles, and I went out for a walk on the country roads while my daughter was horseback riding, actually, and I was going up and down the hills. And I was really pushing hard with the poles into the pavement, and I was amazed at the workout I got. I thought this is a really great alternative. So as my body gets older and I don't feel like pounding the pavement with the running and the other sports that I've always done. It's a great alternative, and you get a fantastic workout. It's fun, actually.
Yeah, and I would think that you're not thinking about it as much, but as you mentioned, utilizing some of those muscle groups, and then you don't notice it until the end of it.
Absolutely, and I do this demo when I do talks, and I just picked someone from the audience, and I have them grab a pole, and they don't even know anatomy or anything, and I have them palpate their abdominals, and I say, okay, push down into the pole, and they actually feel their abdominals pop out, and they say, wow, that's cool. And I said, okay, put your hand on the back of your arm. Okay, now push down into the pole, and they feel their tricep activate. Wow, that's cool. And then they put their hand on their rib cage. Okay, push down. So their latissimus dorsi, which is a muscle in our trunk area. So there's a ton of muscles that work that wouldn't normally work when you're doing regular walking. And that is part of the better workout, burning more calories, which is kind of what people want to do when they're working out.
My abdominals popped out years ago, and my problem is I can't get them back in.
Well, we'll talk about that another time.
Is it like other things, like where there's certain type of poles that are better than others, or like let's say I want to go to Canadian Tire and pick up some poles today. What would I be looking for? Like, is there, am I worried about a certain length? Am I worried about a certain material? Like, what would be your suggestion if somebody was starting to look into this?
That is a great question, and I'm not trying to gain a profit from this. However, I sell what I consider to be the best ergonomically designed poles that you can get. They were designed by an occupational therapist who's a friend of mine in BC for patients who might have hand problems. So the grips aren't really tiny. They're a nice size. You don't even have to grip on them hard. You just push back. They're just designed perfectly. The material in them has less vibration. The tips are better. She's just looked into every aspect of the poles. So they run around, don't quote me, but it's around $100 for a set of poles, but they are well worth it. And if sometimes people can get a referral from their doctor that says they need the poles, and then their benefits will pay for it. So if people can afford it, I definitely recommend it's called Urban Pole brand, and we sell them at our clinic. Now, the poles that I have seen at Canadian Tire and TSC, they're definitely a lower price point. They might be around $40. Again, don't quote me. They're perfectly fine. The grips are a little bit narrower. They have loops on them, which isn't necessarily a safe thing, because if you fell, you wouldn't really want to be attached to your pole and get pulled down by it. They're a little bit thinner. They have a little bit more vibration. There's different ways of adjusting them. So there's two kinds that we sell. One is like a push button type adjustment for the length, and that's similar to a cane. So that's easier for people that have hand problems. And then you also have the one where you would twist it to tighten and twist it to untighten. So it depends if their hand function is okay or not. We sell both kinds. I think those are your options. So you can buy them anywhere, I think, from about $30, $40 up to about $100. And then the people that want to take them down south with them, which I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but if they want to travel with them, they actually have telescoping lengths that you can collapse into a suitcase, which is really cool, because then you can take them various places. So there's all different kinds you can buy.
You talked about classes. Where or how can you sign up for classes, and what's the cost on something like that?
Right. So we're starting them again this fall. We've been doing them for about 5 years, and we run them in Elgin Park. So everyone's really looking forward to getting outside now that we've all been cooped up because of COVID. We have it. Of course, it's all on a website. We're trying to do everything by phone or email if possible, because that's safest. So the website is uxbridgepolewalking.com. We have 3 classes per week. They start the first week in September. They're Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and they're Wednesday nights. And they're taught by physiotherapists and physiotherapy assistants and personal trainers. So people that have experience with patients with all sorts of conditions, or people who are just fit and they want to come out and join us. They're a great way for people to socialize as well. So I think that's something we've all been missing is getting out into groups because it hasn't been safe, and socializing. So it's a chance for us to be led through a warm-up, some upper body and lower body exercises, some walking through the park where we'll stay physically distanced 2 meters apart or more, and a cool down and stretching. So that's coming up very soon.
And I guess you register online and pay online, so that would make it a lot easier, and obviously following health protocols.
Right. We're encouraging that as much as possible. Some of our participants aren't quite computer savvy, so our first choice, of course, is emailing everything in. We'll do it virtually. We do e-transfers, etc. And if necessary, you can call us at the clinic, or if you need to come in person, it's at my clinic, so you can put your mask on and come into the building, and we have all our safe clinic protocols in place to help you at our front desk.
So, and again, you're taking registrations now for those classes?
Yep. We are just getting everything organized this week, and everything, you can go online to the website, uxbridgepollwalking.com. All the information is there. There's an email address that you can email us if you have questions. And, yep, we're all set up and ready to take people back in, because you and I talked about this in the spring. We did Zoom classes in the spring, just like Scott and Okami Kai. That's kind of what we were limited to. So we missed our spring session. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing people in person again.
I wonder if we advance this, if we can bring Scott into it at some point, and like an advanced defense training with pole walking.
Don't think I'm already thinking this through.
I knew that. I knew. Wait a minute. We could use those as defensive things. That would be interesting.
Yeah, they double as a weapon, definitely.
Yeah, well, there's somebody innocent walking down the... No, they're not so innocent. They're ready to, just in case.
Yeah, pole walking in Elgin Park's a little different than Central Park in New York, I guess.
Yes, hopefully it is a little safer up here. Listen, Jodi, we want to thank you. And again, your business did reopen. How are things going as far as getting clients in and out? I would imagine that they're much more staggered than they used to be.
Definitely, yeah. This is hard to believe. It's our third month since we reopened, and we're at the point now where we can't fit everybody in that wants to get in, because we are keeping space between our appointments. We have less therapists there at a time. We're still following strict safety protocols. So it's great that surgeries are starting up, and, people are feeling more comfortable with they're definitely feeling comfortable with our procedures. So we're somewhere, my numbers lately have came out around 70% of what normally we would be bringing in. But we just all have to keep following the protocols, and hopefully things will progress back to a level where we can be a little bit busier.
Well, thank you for all the work that you are doing. I know helping an awful lot of people. Maybe 70% of what used to come through the door, but helping those 70%. Thanks for your time, and thanks for being part of Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you, guys. Have an awesome day.
And Scott, we'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
Sounds good. In the meantime, I'm going to be worrying about popping out my abs. I'm going to be working on that now.
Actually, ever since we said that, I just keep looking down going, why want to go back in? Why want to go back in? We'll work on that. Listen, guys, we'll catch up again in a week or so.
Okay.
Take care.
Guys.
Bye-bye. That is Jodi Bussiere from Uxbridge Physiotherapy, and Scott Campsall from Okami Kai Karate. Scott joins us every Wednesday as we bring something forward for a Wellness Wednesday, trying to keep you healthy.